Are you looking for the best microSD cards? In this video, we will look at some of the 5 best microSD cards on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Samsung Pro Plus microSD card, 512 gigabytes. This Samsung card is easy to find, speedy, and inexpensive compared with rivals. With 512 gigabytes of storage capacity, it has space for dozens of game downloads or hours of 4K drone footage. The Samsung Pro Plus is the fastest card we tested in this group of microSDXC cards and is our pick for most people. It is quick enough for storing 1080p, 4K, and up to 5K video and action cameras and drones. It adds ample storage to smartphones, game systems, and tablets, and it can function as the boot drive or storage for a kit PC, such as a Raspberry Pi. With 512 gigabytes, you have space for an expansive games library on the Nintendo Switch or the Steam Deck. Number 2. SanDisk microSDXC card for Nintendo Switch, 128 gigabytes. This microSD card is fast, attractively priced, and good for phones, tablets, game consoles, and more. It has less capacity than our top pick, but it still doubles the storage in a Switch. The SanDisk microSDXC card for Nintendo Switch is available in multiple capacities. In a previous round of testing, the 128 gigabytes version performed the fastest and as a result became our top pick at the time. We recommend it for budding drone pilots, folks who need to add storage to security cameras, novice video game players who now have their first Nintendo Switch, and Switch owners who are interested only in downloading and playing Nintendo's main titles. Number 3. Samsung Pro Plus microSD card. Storage prices tend to fluctuate, however, in the Samsung Pro Plus, our former best for most pick, is still worth considering if you see it available for several dollars less than the Silver Plus and the capacity you want. Its sequential read and, especially, write performance was slower than Lexar's card across the board, but still on par with or better than every other UHSI card we've tested. Random reads and writes were generally second to the pricier Samsung Pro Ultimate, so it's well suited for a portable game console or any other setup where it'd be asked to access tiny bits of data scattered throughout a device. It's held up perfectly fine in our long-term testing as well. That said, the Silver Plus is the better card when it's in the same price range. Plus, Samsung's has a shorter 10-year warranty. If you do end up grabbing one, though, make sure you get the newest model with read speeds rated at 180 megabytes per second. An older generation model with slower sequential reads and random performance is still hanging around at some online retailers as of our latest update. Number 4. Lexar Professional Silver Plus. What happens when you take the top-shelf performance of the Phoenix and re-optimize it for maximum battery life? You get the Enduro, a similarly high-caliber solar watch that can last a staggering 46 days in smartwatch mode, perfect for a long bike-packing outing without places to recharge. The face, at 51 millimeters, is a bit large for our preference, but it also doesn't have as many rough edges or enormous buttons as other premium smartwatches. In other words, it's bulky, but it's not unwieldy. Number 5. Samsung Evo Select microSD card. The Samsung Evo Select is a clear step behind our top picks, particularly when it comes to sequential write speeds, just under 70 megabytes per second on Crystal Disk Mark. So we don't recommend it for any sort of camera. Still, it's perfectly usable for simple storage expansion, and its sequential and random read speeds were still respectable in our benchmarks. Most importantly, it's usually inexpensive. We've previously seen the 128 gigabytes, 256 gigabytes, 512 gigabytes, and 1 terabyte models fall as low as $13, $18, $33, and $70, respectively. The latter two capacities could be particularly fine values if you just want a giant chunk of space from a reputable brand on the cheap. That said, you should still grab the Lexar Professional Silver Plus or Samsung Pro Plus instead, if either one is anywhere close in price. Similar to the Pro Plus, you may still find a last-generation version of the Evo Select floating around at some retailers. That one has slower sequential read speeds advertised at 130 megabytes per second instead of 160 megabytes per second, ratings that largely held true in our testing. If price is paramount and you see the old model available for dirt cheap, feel free to get that instead, as the point of this pick is to select a card that performs well enough for as little as possible.